The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Welcome to it Mondays here. It's Hail Varsity Radio. Roadshow Monday here at Rosie's downtown. We're here to end the month of October, back in November for some Monday Night Football and some Big Ten discussion. A lot going on in the Big Ten. And we want to see you down here at Rosie's, 10th and P in Lincoln. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, hope you're doing well. This has been interesting. This has been a month of Victory Mondays, dare I say, as Nebraska did what they're supposed to do based on the rolling the old helmet out, the brand of the program. But the reality for a long time has been the brand has not matched the actual on-field product. Nebraska still has a lot more to say this 2023 football season, and we'll dive into it. We'll hear from some Matt Rule comments as a little bit of Rule rewind this hour, and the hour open for you. 489-1240. 489-1240. Can also email the show, Chris at HailVarsity.com. As always, be a part of the stream. Get in the comments. The Hail Varsity YouTube channels where you can watch the show. Elijah back in studio. I'm at Rosie's. And then also the Hail Varsity Radio Twitter feed at HVarsity Radio. Hail Varsity Radio powered by Cornhead Lager, the perfect beer to enjoy while watching your favorite game. Purchases, they help support NIL through the 1890 initiative. Raiders, Lions tonight. Do you know a Raider fan? Are they tatted up? Do they have leather? Are they angry? Have you been to the black hole? All questions we can get into in hour two with some more NFL thoughts. Lions fans have been a long time suffering. Case in point, Barry Sanders retired in 1999. Elijah, big weekend of football. You're still smiling as Let's Ride Russ stopped that winning streak by Kansas City. It wasn't even that close.
Yeah, I said it before the year started, Schmitty. The Broncos team this year could go 1-16 as long as they got a win over the Chiefs.
They got the one.
I wouldn't be overjoyed, but I'd be happy. They did it. The streak is over. Maybe it's now time for a new streak for the Chiefs. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens the rest of the year, the Broncos could not win a game because if that happens, they beat the Chiefs and they're still going to have a top 5 pick. Maybe this builds some momentum. They're headed into the bye week. We had Mike McGlinchey after the game yesterday say this is proof of concept. We believe in what we're doing. Maybe the Broncos can put a run together. Still a lot of football left to be played this year. I don't know. It doesn't matter. All I know is the streak is dead. After 16 games, the Broncos have finally beaten the Chiefs. I was a junior in high school the last time that happened.
Man.
And I was 16 years old, junior in high school. And after all this time, the Broncos have finally gotten it done. I was thinking about crying last night. I didn't. That was also a joke. I don't think I'd cry over football, despite how emotional it was. But it did, in fact, feel really good to finally get that monkey off the back. And then to see the Broncos playing Taylor Swift in the stadium postgame. Chef's kiss. Mwah.
Yes. Shake it off. Come get a cocktail down here at Rosie's, 10th and P downtown. Settle in for some Monday Night Football. It's okay to still celebrate a unbeaten October for Nebraska football. That's incredible. So a couple of key questions I have. One, with Nebraska football, are you all in? Do you think this season's going to end up being okay? They're 5-3 right now. They've won 3 in a row. They've won 5 of 6. Michigan seems a long time ago. That seems like a different team many moons ago, and that I think that's fair. Offensively, defensively, special teams wise, there's a confidence to this football team that got brought out and called out. We got to go back to the infamous Sunday night practice, the turning point of the Illinois game. Rule talked about it. That's the night the O-line got some confidence, right? Didn't pay it off. You still fumbled the football away, but you put some drives together against a pretty physical team. Then you go beat Northwestern. You survive yourself against Northwestern. You're feeling a little bit taller. And then you go out and do a lot of really good things. Your offense was pretty nice from a big play standpoint, either putting a long drive together or hitting a big play to make it. Dude, 14-0 felt like 40-0. Okay, the way the defense was playing, then it got tight in the fourth quarter. And I'm still just ripping my hair out a little bit with the fumbles because, Elijah, it's 3 weeks in a row. Fourth quarter finish against the Illini. You start the game with a turnover against Northwestern, and you start each half with a turnover against Purdue. So are you feeling better about this team, or is it a little bit of both? Nebraska's playing some teams, not their fault, just reality. They're getting a break finally. You mentioned the old chef's kiss. They're getting a French kiss finally by the Big Ten schedule makers. So part of it's, and this, again, isn't Nebraska's fault. This isn't not to downplay or demean them. I think they're playing good football. I think they're a good team. I do believe that. I think they got really talented kids, but I think they've got guys that are being developed and being unleashed, right? We hear the old Mitch Sherman open every Tuesday, unleash the fury, Mitch. This defense is unleashing. They're doing well. The offense is a work in progress that did some better things. But the turnovers, man, I don't know. I'm the guy raising both hands. I called Purdue to win 13-10. I was way off on that one. It's okay. I can own that. That's fine. As a Nebraska fan, you're happy with the score. You're happy with the cover. Absolutely. If you had the over, good for you. You know more than me. I thought the unders was the way to go with that one. But you're seeing a little bit more explosive offense. Harburg's continuing to settle in. He made some plays. You see Emmett Johnson's emerged. You saw an offensive line that really wasn't a problem, to be honest with you, on Saturday. But, Elijah, they got to handle the football. Clearly, obviously. And can they exercise? This is the second question within the spirit of Halloween. From an exorcism standpoint, can Nebraska exercise those demons? This house is clear. Can they do that with the football? I'm not saying they'll never turn it over. That's a part of football. Turnovers happen. Can they stop the mindless, idiotic turnovers where they're just not taking care of the football? And that's it. They limit themselves to one turnover a game while they're out at least getting one. If they go even the rest of the way, they can go 3-1. I haven't quite decided how they're going to go the rest of this season. I know for our listeners, I'll probably pick Michigan State to keep things going. Clearly, I'm the reason Nebraska's won 3 in a row because I picked against them in 2 out of the 3 wins recently. I don't know. I think Nebraska's a better football team, but I just don't know if even if they bring in the old man from The Exorcist, I don't know that it's going to help offensively. They just may be that damaged of a football team when it comes to taking care of the ball.
But on the other hand here, and Ryan brings up a good point, and I've been thinking about this over the weekend. This season does feel similar to that 09 football season. He said
that 08 season was fun. That was a good season. They got better and better and better, didn't they?
Yeah, and then you turn it into 09, and what was the problem with the team in 09? It wasn't the defense. It was the offense.
They didn't have Joe Gans.
It was the offense and turning the football over. Who could forget the 8 turnovers against Iowa State? The one game you lose to a Big 12 North foe that year, and it's because the offense shoots you in the foot whenever the defense is doing all they can. There's shades of that season. It's not identical. It's not like for like, but I can see where you're coming from because look at the rest of the Big 12 North that year. Nebraska makes it to the Big 12 title game where they inevitably lose to Texas, but the rest of the Big 12 North, nobody was all that impressive that year, and Nebraska loses to Iowa State because of the offense, but they go and pull it out in a strong finish to the year where they reel off 5 straight following that loss to Iowa State. You play your way into the Big 12 championship game, and you go give Texas a run for their money and give them really all they can handle in that game. And I'm not saying Nebraska's going to go make a run to Indy and go give Michigan all they can handle in the Big Ten title game. You'd love it if that's the case, but Nebraska finished that season with 5 winnable games. Baylor, Oklahoma, who had a bit of a down year that year, and you remember Prince Amukamara stepping up, getting the pick, and setting
Still
up the one
counts.
Husker touchdown. And then you have Kansas, Kansas State, and Colorado. That was how you finished the year, all very winnable games. You feel that way, too, right now whenever you look at the rest of the schedule for Nebraska. They're all winnable games. Michigan State is spiraling. I made the pun on the postgame show. I liked it so much I'm going to bring it back. Maryland, they're a shell of what they were at the start of the year. They're kind of starting to go downhill. But I had that sound effect somewhere, but I can't find it. And then you have Wisconsin, who offensively hasn't looked great since Mordecai's gone down. And then Iowa, who, as we learned today, does not have an offensive coordinator for next year. Brian Ferentz will make it through the year. He will coach in an expected bowl game, and then he will hit the road. So there's issues with every single team that Nebraska has on their schedule. Nebraska's got issues of their own. I think the great equalizer that they have is that defense. The defense is going to give them a chance in every single game, and if you can get some things going, I mean, you went out, you're in Indy. It's as simple as that. And I think Nebraska has the potential to win out. It's going to be difficult to do. The offense is going to have to get better. They're going to have to clean up the turnovers, which has been a hard task for them to overcome so far this year. But what I've seen from the Huskers is, dating back to that Michigan game, Nebraska has gotten better every single week. Despite the issues, they looked better against Purdue than they did against Northwestern. They looked better against Northwestern than they did against Illinois. If they continue that trend, upward trajectory, the offense cleans up some of the turnovers. You don't have to be perfect in that category, but you're not going to cut it putting the ball on the ground 5 times. If you can get a little bit better, 1% better every single day, as Matt Rule likes to say, I don't think it's unfeasible to think Nebraska can win out, because every single team that Nebraska has left has issues of their own that Nebraska can take advantage of, especially with how well the defense is playing right now.
It'd be funny to match up each team's issues with Nebraska and then go strength or weakness, right? I mean, and we'll get there later on in the week. A reminder, we are on the road Thursday, Friday, Saturday from East Lansing, as we are going to be on site for Nebraska's bowl eligibility win, that clincher, that game that Nebraska fans have been waiting for so long, that gets you into bowl season. You want more than that. Coach Rule's right after his postgame saying, well, 6, come on now, that isn't going to be enough. And I don't think it is. You're not being greedy. You're being realistic when you look at the talent of this team. I know we criticize it from time to time because of the turnovers, but what did Matt Rule talk about from moment one? He talked about incremental progress, okay? And you've seen it. You've seen it with this football team. You saw this football team lose another heartbreaker to Minnesota. Then you saw them kind of get ticked off with the offense after it was 13-7, and then they got outscored. They got boat raced in a tight ball game with about 8 minutes left in Boulder. That got a lot funkier than it was. The offense was a nightmare to holding on to the football. Stop me if you've heard it before. And then they didn't keep playing at the level they were playing at in Boulder that second game. Nebraska figured it out, kind of looked shaky, kind of looked sloppy, beat up on one team that's really bad in Northern Illinois, got refocused against Louisiana Tech as we go. And then they just didn't want to fight against Michigan. They were absolutely intimidated against Michigan. They got called out for it by their head coach. And now you look at this 3-game win streak and the fact you've won 5 out of 6. No, it's not been ranked opponents. No, it's not been the 1995 schedule. I get that. It's not been the 2021 schedule. But this team's doing things they haven't done in a long time. This program hasn't done in a long time. So you're seeing different phases get better. And now it's the offense's turn, Elijah, to go on the road and be better with taking care of the football. Defense has been bulletproof, man, and they've been fun. They've been good. They were human last week where they, God forbid, allowed a sudden change touchdown. But you can't have happen. You can't have guys get forced into duty, Jeff Sims, and then go piss the bed. Okay, that can't happen, and I feel awful for him. But that's 8 turnovers in 8 quarters. You went to him to go get you a 4th and 1, and it didn't happen. Not only did he not get it, he fumbled it. All right, so you get stuffed. So what? They can't take your lunch money and run to the end zone. So there's some film study there. But incremental progress has led Elijah to 3-0, bud. And that's big for Nebraska. That is absolutely what you've been talking about, proof of concept. Because you just saw it 3-0 in October.
Now, can you get the incremental progress with the turnovers? Because that's been the issue all year long for this Husker offense. And part of me thinks there is an element to you are what you are at this point in the season. And I think what Nebraska is offensively is a team that's going to turn the football over. But it's about, you know what, you take 5 times you put the ball on the ground. Can you cut it down to 1 or 2? Because if you can do that, Nebraska's defense is enough to clean up 1 or 2 errors from that Husker offense. They're good enough to do that. And you think about it, Nebraska, if they don't put the ball on the ground on Saturday, they probably win 24-0. And I don't say 31-0.
Sure.
Because if you don't put the ball on the ground, you don't give your defense and your special teams a chance to block a field goal and return it for a touchdown. It's the give and the take. Sometimes there's an element, your best units, your defense, you want them on the field. They make a play for you. They go put 7 on the board for you. So you live with that. But then on the other hand, you put it on the ground again, Purdue returns it for a touchdown, you put it on the ground, they set him up on a short field, Purdue scores it. But Nebraska should have pitched a shutout in that game if it wasn't for the turnovers offensively. And there's give and take to it. You love having the defense on the field because they're playing so great. So it's about getting just incrementally better in that area. And if you can do that, I don't think there isn't a game that Nebraska shouldn't be favored in based on the way that defense is playing. It comes down to can the offense clean up the turnovers, because that's going to bite them at some point this year if they don't.
Slide favorite in Vegas. We are down here. Our favorite, Rosie's 10th and P Road Show Monday. Come see us. Back with you, Hail Varsity Road Show Monday here at Rosie's 10th and P. You are invited out. We're here for some Monday Night Football and a little Big Ten recap as well. 10th and P Rosie's. Reminder later on in the week, Simplicated. Going to be live music here on the 3rd of November. So come on down here to Rosie's. Also, we're here for the Denver-Buffalo game here, the 13th of November. So check that out. Silas Creek will be playing live music November 17th. Cody Johnson also going to be at PBA, so get locked in. And then before we get you to December, Bears-Vikings. We're back here at Rosie's with Whiskey Richards December 1st. So live music on the weekends for you here at Rosie's 10th and P. We're on stage right now. I will not sing, I promise you, because, well, that would not do anyone any favors. We will get into baby Ferentz getting the old son. The principal needs to talk to you, and I can't help you this time. Treatment. Scott's with us here on Hail Varsity. Scott, thanks for calling. Go ahead, bud.
Sure. How are you folks this afternoon?
We're good. What do you think?
Well, several things here I wanted to say. First of all, I'm the guy who sells programs over the west side of the stadium. I have to apologize to my customers because they didn't have enough programs for us to go sell outside. So I didn't know how to tell anybody. But anyway, I apologize to all those folks. And the other thing is, was this a complete Nebraska win month with volleyball, with football, the basketball team? I don't know what other soccer. I don't know what other sports they had. Did they completely win the whole month without a loss?
They did pretty well. I mean, basketball's not gotten into full swing yet, but volleyball's still unbeaten. Of course, soccer's doing their thing, and you'll wear that 26 jersey out on the West Stadium, won't you?
That's me. Yeah, that's me.
Yep. Scott, this is good, man. I've seen you for years, man. I appreciate you and what you do, selling the programs to all the Nebraska fans. For how many years you been doing it, Scott?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I've been selling programs since 75.
Okay.
But I've been working down at the stadium since 62 with Boy Scouts and ushering, and I started working down there 62, and there was no north end zone. There was no south end zone seating except in the knothole section. So I sat there and was an usher there. And so during that time, I've only missed 2 home games. One was my bonus daughter was in a national beauty pageant in Orlando, and my son was in a national horse show, and that would have been in 2002. So I've only missed 2 home games.
Well, 2002 was the year to do it, but no, that's a run. So you're feeling good. We were talking incremental progress, Scott. You've seen it under Rule quite a bit. I mean, you've seen this team keep getting better, and they got a good opportunity in October, from October to November now.
Yeah, I like the way they're playing, especially the defense. The defense is hungry. They play with a lot of grit. I enjoy that. Now this is kind of same level, but so I talked to the special teams face-to-face today, coordinator for Michigan State, and then also a grad assistant for the safeties at Michigan State today.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Ross Ells is the son of Bob Ells, and Bo is the grandson of Bob Ells, and they had a get-together for him, a memorial service for him this afternoon.
Gotcha. That's right. Mr. Ells passed, but condolences to the family. But I had forgotten Ross was at Sparty.
Yeah, when I went up and talked to him, I asked him what he was doing. He said, "Oh, I'm with Michigan State." And I go, "Oh, yeah, you were the linebackers." He says, "I'm special teams now." So I asked Bo, I said, "What's the most important thing you tell your safeties?" He says, "Just read your cues." I said, "What's that? Like the lineman, offensive lineman standing up?" Yeah, stuff like that. And I asked Ross, I said, "What's the most important thing you tell your special teams?" He says, we can't make a mistake. I mean, you can make mistakes on offense and defense, but it doesn't hurt you as bad as it does on the special teams. So anyway, I just thought it was kind of interesting just talking to them.
It is good. Scott, appreciate the phone call and you tuning in, man. Keep telling us those programs. We appreciate your service.
Yeah, well, I appreciate what you guys do, and you're a lot of fun to watch or listen to. And anyway, keep up the good work. You and Elijah.
Take care, Scott. Appreciate you, man. There he is. Good to hear from Scott. He's always out front West Stadium, man. That is big time.
And I love him.
76.
I love him coming with the accountability right off the top. Matt Rule's been preaching it. Man, we weren't able to sell the programs outside of the fans today. We didn't have enough programs. He comes with the accountability right off the top. Love that from him. He's representing the program well in that way. And I also forgot about the L's and the connection over there at Michigan State. Bo was on my middle school football team way back in the day. And then
I'm sure that picture with Elijah Herbel's on his wall.
I don't know about all that, but
I'm absolutely being facetious there. But Brennan chimes in. We'll get to some of your stream comments. Open phones for you here till 5. We'll get to Coach Charlie McBride. A Monday with Charlie as we're here at Rosie's 9th and P. Check that 10th and P downtown. Here live at Rosie's here. You have Brennan chiming in and said, "I like Rule's comment of, is that all you want?" in reference to 6 wins. Brennan's like, "Let's take them all." It's manager Lou Brown in the movie Major League. Let's win actually it was Jake Taylor. Let's win the whole bleeping thing. But I don't think Nebraska fans, Elijah, can jump there yet, can you? I think you feel better about this team where it isn't Lucy holding the football and then ripping it away. You've had opportunities to lose some games the last 3 weeks because of your turnovers, right? You've not been clean. Your defense has been incredible to keep you safe. That's wonderful. Tom Chattel had a great column, safety net, right? It's a high wire act and it's a safety net. That's absolutely what you have with this defense, with this football team. You have another Elijah chiming in. "Hey, fellas, keep being awesome. Proud of all the work the team is putting in. With the rebuild, is Sims really that much better than Purdy? The offense just falls apart when he's in." I think you just see a kid right now that's played a lot of college football but just struggling, man. And it was, you can't believe that would happen. That would happen to last year's Nebraska team, not this year's Nebraska team, and it would cause Nebraska's team last year to lose the game. It'd be one of those moments where you lost the football game because of a turnover or a miscue. You have the ability to overcome that, and they have so far. 489-1240.
And we have Dave on the line.
Okay, let's get to the phones. Dave, thanks for hanging on. Welcome into Hail Varsity. Go ahead.
I think I speak for most Husker fans with our expectations. Yeah, I know a lot of us drank some Kool-Aid, but when it comes down to it, don't you think all Husker fans are just hoping for that one Saturday where mom doesn't have to tell the kids to go outside and play in the cold because daddy's cursing at the TV? That's what we're all looking
that
for.
is absolutely that's everyone's living room. That is everyone's living room. You've grown up in that living room before, or it's still your living room, and now you're the angry father. I love it.
Well, we had those two
go outside and play
with the fumble touchdown, and I was outside, and all of a sudden I saw one of the neighbor kids come out with mom. And that was the first thing I thought, dude.
I love that. That's so true. The first time you heard the mother of all naughty words, it was a Nebraska-Oklahoma game. Dad screaming at the TV. Broken beer bottles everywhere.
Have a great day. Go Big
Dave,
Red.
appreciate you, Dave. That was hilarious. I love that. Yeah. You know, it's a game day Saturday when Junior's outside with mom and both of them are wearing a coat because Dad's raging in the living room. Son of a, they fumbled again. Got to get the cover.
Hey, at least it's fun.
Keep the under.
At least it's fun. It's another thing I said in our post-game show. Is football not fun to watch right now? Like, yeah, they put the ball on the ground 5 times, but it's fun to watch.
The defense is fun to watch. Special teams is getting, fun to watch, or at least not cringeworthy. The offense still is not fun to watch, Elijah.
I disagree because on one hand,
moments on offense.
On one hand, there's frustrating moments, but on the other hand, the team is starting to build up that mindset of they're going to find a way to win despite the errors. And it used to be before, the past couple seasons. They're going to find a way to lose because of the errors. Right now, this is a team that comes together through the errors and finds a way to win. And they've been winning more and more comfortably every single week with the errors. So they're getting there. You'd like to eliminate those errors, but it feels like a team that can battle through it as we go to the phone lines yet again. Deuce hanging on, Schmitty.
Deuce, go for it. Thanks for calling, brother. How are you? Deuce,
Hello,
go ahead.
Schmitty. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm still laughing at Dave's phone call because, I'm thinking of Steve Schmidt right now screaming at an Oklahoma game on TV.
I was thinking about him this weekend as I'm yelling from outside the country. I'm listening on the radio, and I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, does anybody understand clock management? I'm telling you, I love this coaching staff, but somewhere about the 15 minutes, the last quarter, we seem to forget what clock management looked like. I mean, for the love of God, can we quit running pitches or the quarterback around the end when you're ahead with 10 minutes left? I mean, what happened to just run the ball up the middle, punt the ball? You're ahead 24 points, and your defense has given up nothing. And all of a sudden, you can't understand that. Or why go for it on 4th and 1? Punt the ball.
And I think Rule touched on it after the ball game. If you do it over again, yeah, I'm punting it. His gut said to punt it. He didn't punt it. And then worst case scenario happened where not only did you not punt it, you put the backup in, the backup fumbled, and then it was a scoop and score when the backup fumbled. So it was preventable.
Game, though, that we've struggled at the end with time management. I mean,
I know.
You don't have an offense that can help you out. You need to really understand time management. I guess I'm amazed at as much experience as on this coaching staff that we haven't, that our time management is so bad.
Zeus, thanks for the phone call, brother. Appreciate you tuning in and saying what's up. 489-1240. More calls for you. Open phones. We're down here at Rosie's. Come by, get a cocktail. 10th and P. Hail Varsity rolls forward on a Monday.
Hail Varsity Radio is live. Now, back to Schmitty.
Schmitty's a great guy, but he don't have a brain.
And Elijah.
You want me to speak? When I point at you, yeah.
On Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with your Hail Varsity Roadshow. Monday here at Rosie's, downtown, 10th and P. You're invited out. Back here in November for some more Monday night and some Big Ten recon There's a lot going on in the Big Ten. Nebraska still in the race for that West Division. 489-1240. We'll get to more of your stream comments. Charlie McBride's 20 minutes away. Rod is waiting. Rod, thanks for the phone call. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I've watched a lot of the games, and I really like the coaching staff and what they're doing there. Special teams, the thing that still drives me nuts is we don't field the punt. We let the ball hit the ground, and the kid back there now, the Bullet kid, he seems petrified to catch the ball.
You don't want to screw up.
Can catch a punt. Well, I get that, but and he must have been smoked in practice or something because they don't want to grab it, that's for sure, and we give up a lot of yards on that.
No, you're right, and Coach Rule mentioned that one of our favorites, George Darlington, was in his office yesterday, letting him know that the old punt return unit needs some help in a polite, loving, I want you to win a lot of ball games here at Nebraska, son, type take. We'll hear that from Rule in a little bit, but no, Nebraska needs to get things figured out from the return standpoint, and it was a nightmare with the opening kickoff where Snodgrass did a hell of a job figuring out it was a short kick, and he fielded it well, and he had a 20-yard return, but then he goes into contact like a bowling ball headed towards pins, and it gets popped out. Now, Nebraska got screwed on that call. The point is right. Cover the football up, so it's not an issue. So, yeah, special teams is good. Alvano's been nice. Bushimi's been good into the wind, but there's still room to grow, and we'll hear from Mr. Foley tomorrow on that.
Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate you listening, Ron. Thanks for the call. 489-1240. 489-1240. I can just see Bullock there with no protection, and here's 47 guys like it's the Battle of the Bastards episode in Game of Thrones, right? Where
Great reference.
Jon Snow's got his sword, and he's got the whole army coming towards him. Some comments here. Elijah chimes in. On the Rule presser, only point of criticism today on Rule's press conference is his lack of accountability with Sims. He's not shy to call out Grant publicly, but gets reclusive when it comes to Sims. I think, Elijah, that's a fair take. I think it comes down to knowing each guy's makeup and personality. I think Grant's a guy who can take getting called out at this point in time of the season and in his career. I don't think Sims is a guy right now, and you saw how things didn't go well for him on Saturday, who can take getting ripped publicly right now. I would bet he's not able to handle it. It would not help. I mean, Grant's a personality, by my guess, that is going to get motivated by the challenge, hearing his name out there to hold on to the bleeping football. If Sims gets called out by his head coach right now, it's unnecessary piling on. And Rule did say it's my job to make sure he doesn't fumble, Elijah.
Yep. We go to the phone lines yet again where Bob is standing by.
Hey, Bob, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, I have watched the last two games even more closely than the first ones, and I've noticed that we've been most effective running and passing out of the I formation. With our issue with the line, doesn't it make sense maybe get one of those wide receivers off the field, add a fullback, get us another blocker that way?
You know, Bob, I'll say this. I think Nebraska's most effective, Elijah, jump in here too. Nebraska's most effective off play action, okay? And that's out of the I, that's under center. That's when they've been good throwing the football this season. You saw the completion for 16 yards to Doss. That was, I think, was that shotgun? I got to go back and look. But the big play to Lloyd was out of the I formation.
That was shotgun.
That belly G option.
It was shotgun.
So it was shotgun.
I had to go back and
Doss.
look at this one, too. It was like a belly G option read, but it was out as shotgun, like kind of the speed option look, and it was from shotgun that play.
Okay. But their best, Bob, out of play action.
They're best whenever they have a running game that they can rely upon in order to get the defense and the safeties moving up to open up the passing
attack. So it's a one-on-one?
And I think this past week, they were most effective getting running game going from the I formation. That's why the passing game looked more effective from there. But I'm kind of with Schmidt on this one. That it's however they get the running game going that week, that's where they're going to get more success as they get to the play action and get Harburg some looks that way from the play action.
Yeah. My take was the fourth quarter is where we seem to run the ball the best, and we seem to be in the I formation most of that.
Yep.
No, Bob, you're right, and that's how November is going to be a repeat of October if Nebraska's going to continue to have success. Is that run game, and you got new linemen that did a good job with it. Bob, thanks for the phone call, bud. And yeah, I formation's the answer. The silver lining was Nebraska able to line up and hammer the football when they held on to the football. 489-1240. If you want to get in here, open phones till 5. But we were getting into Nebraska as the rest of the season looks and where things are at, how and why Nebraska's in this West race. And if you want to chime in a little bit on what you saw on Saturday, go for it. But this team's not blinking, Elijah, with the success and some of the failures being that turnover issue.
Yeah, and we go to the phone lines one last time here at this segment. Pete hanging on the line for us.
All right. Pete, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
How you doing?
We're good, man. How are you doing?
I don't want to complain too much on a win. You know, it's kind of hard to complain too much when they won. But some balls in the freezer.
Pete, we're losing you. Go ahead. Now we got you.
The second thing is Taylor Martinez did it also, but Harburg holds up right before contact. And I don't know what he's trying to do there. I don't know if he's trying to lessen the blow or what, but the coach needs to get in his ear and tell him, make a decision and go 100%, because when you hold up like that, you get hurt worse than if you're going 100%.
Pete, appreciate the phone call. I kind of lost that first part. Elijah, did you get it cleanly or no?
No, but I got the second part loud and clear.
Yeah, and that's right. I mean, Team Magic got absolutely killed because he would run straight up, and when he'd run into contact, he'd get wiped out. Yeah, Rule touched on that. We'll sneak in some Rule commentary next hour, time permitting, and before we end this hour. But you're invited down here to Rosie's, another Monday night road show, as it's Detroit and the Raiders. We're here on stage till 6. Do not throw things at me. There's no chicken wire a la Blues Brothers. This is a fun spot. You need some wings. You need a beer.
You want Schmidt to sing Rawhide?
Rawhide? No, I will not do that. Head him up movement, right? But we're down here. Munchie and the crew's having us here. Another road show Monday. 10th and P is where we're at here. Rosie's downtown. A quick timeout. We'll wind down this first hour. Can sneak in a phone call or two more. 489-1240.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time this first hour. We're down here at Rosie's downtown, 10th and P. You're invited down for some Monday night. They're going to have some bags going here. Awesome time down here at Rosie's Mondays and throughout the week. Live music this weekend. Live music next weekend. And we'll be back here in November for some Monday Night Madness as well. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel. Reminder to get buckled up. Use your seatbelt. It saves lives. It prevents injuries. And only if properly worn. Buckle up. A message from the Nebraska Department of Highway Safety Office. Cornhead Lager is incredible. They are helping bring you Hail Varsity. Tim chimes in. When it comes to the offense, Elijah, the offense will grow up just enough in the nick of time and will contend for the West. Might not win it, but will be there. The O didn't start meshing till the third game. So I think I like the line, right? And you can speak to that here a little bit more than I can, but I thought they played well. I was looking at some of the scoring, and I thought Lutoski had a good game. I thought mentality-wise, I thought Teddy came in ready to go to pick up for his guys. And I thought it could have been a lot worse, to be honest with you. The mistakes made with negative plays, I wouldn't go on the offensive line. I thought it was more decision-making at quarterback.
I liked what I saw from the offensive line on Saturday personally, and I know that was our main talking point last week, Schmidt, was what were they going to look like? And you thought there wasn't going to be as much fall-off. I was concerned, and I got to the end of the game, and I was impressed. They weren't perfect, especially in the first half. Some negative plays on the ground that kind of hurt some drives. But overall, they gave Heinrich Harburg enough time to go find an open receiver. They opened up some holes for the running backs. I mean, I think 76 yards rushing in the fourth quarter speaks for itself in terms of what that offensive line was able to do. They figured some things out. They weren't the reason why Nebraska's offense had issues. That came down to the guys that were toting the rock and fumbling the football. So whenever you look at that, I think a lot of people thought the offensive line was going to be the downfall of the offense. They were far from that. They were not the biggest problem with the offense on Saturday. It's not a perfect offense by any means, but the offensive line was not a negative, and I think that is a win for where they're at right now.
Chris chimes in and says, look, I've changed my tune a little bit. The Bug Eaters looked good. They may take the West. Our friend Cutter checks in, and he is part of the stream. And you can always watch the show, the Hail Varsity YouTube channel or Hail Varsity Radio Twitter feed at HVarsity Radio. Can send your comments in that way if you don't want to call or email. But years past, Nebraska would have folded. The main takeaway from this season is the culture change that's happened. They just keep playing. They have confidence. They aren't afraid to go out and win the game. Again, it is that safety net of a defense that has been the primary difference this season.
And I'm probably
it's not that they didn't have good defenses in different moments, Elijah, but they really are playing at a confident level.
And I'm probably going to regret saying this, but it's incredible that we have reached the end of October, and I do feel comfortable enough to say it publicly, say it out loud. I feel good about Nebraska's chances in a close football game down the stretch here. If they find themselves in a 14-10, a 13-10, a 14-all game with a couple minutes left in this game, I like Nebraska's chances at that because they seem to play their best football down the stretch of football games. Maybe not the beginning of the fourth quarter, but what does Nebraska do? They string together a touchdown drive following the scoop and score to put that game away. Nebraska's been able to step up and make big plays in big moments.
Big pucker factor right there, and Nebraska at least was able to put it away and not turn it over. Coach McBride next.
This is Christian Peter. I'm sorry, but the stories I have about Charlie are not appropriate for the public.
The right case of the Mondays. It's Mr. Blackshirt, Charlie McBride, on Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you. It's a Monday road show. We're down here at Rosie's, 10th and P, as it is some football weather still outside. Mid-30s is all we're at right now, but I know he's probably not wearing sleeves. He might be even outside. We say hi to Mr. Blackshirt. It's a Monday with Charlie. Charlie McBride joins us here on Hail Varsity. We're here at Rosie's, and Nebraska has won 3 in a row. That is incredible. That is nice. The first time it's happened in October since 2001 when Nebraska went to play for a national championship. Coach McBride, thanks for a few minutes. Good to talk with you again. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing okay.
So you're kind of like this football team, right?
Well, what's hard for me is the Big Ten channel. I got up this morning about 6:30, and I turned the TV on, and it was our game.
Yeah.
So I watched it, and I came back. I took my wife to the store. We did some shopping, came back, turned the thing on, and it was the game. So I watched it twice today. Now I'm ready to commit suicide.
Mr. Blackshirt's with us. Oh, well, it did that.
Let me tell you something funny. You're all going to laugh at me, okay?
All right.
Did you ever? Now, this is kinesiology was close to my major, so I have a little experience in part of it. But have you ever measured the distance between the elbow and the hand?
I have not.
Okay. Well, if you take a football and have a guy that has very long arms and so forth, the football, when you're trying to hold it, goes pretty much into the point of the hand, into the middle of the hand, or some guys hold it with 2 fingers and fits. Now, when you put it in your football carrying position, the back point basically doesn't reach any part of your bicep unless you hold it tight up into your body. Are you understanding that so far?
I absolutely. I just reenacted it on video here for Elijah and our viewers on the stream. So yes, absolutely. I know what you're talking about.
A lot of players have this. They have a long from their elbow to their hand. It's long. I mean, I could tell you some short guys that have, but it doesn't give you a chance to carry it with one hand, really, and be able to tuck it in your body, unless you've got it up tight, and then still you don't have total holding ability. Okay, so to punch it out or to grab underneath your elbow while you're running or something like that is easy. Now, when you're going to fall, and I've seen it happen just right now on TV. Okay, I mean, I watched it with our game. When you fall, sometimes we were made to catch a fall. I mean, not fall on your elbow, right? And so you can see it come out away from your body, and therefore you have only the hand that has the strength to hold it in there. And so that's why a lot of guys fumble. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the physical part of their body. And if they do get in traffic, they've got to cover up with both hands on both points of the ball.
Charlie McBride's with us. Coach, I know it's well documented with fumbling issues. Overall, did you like the defense? Do you think this team's grown? They haven't lost in October.
I think they're doing very good. There's a couple aspects I don't like. I guess I just hear coaches say, well, he plays corner and he plays safety and he can play on both sides and stuff. Well, if you're the guy playing there, okay, we played both. I mean, when I was playing, we had to play both ways. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm that old. We had to play offense and then go to defense, and everybody played that way. I mean, every player had to play both sides of the ball. So you know what you have now, what you see here then is you have to cut back on your practice, so you're practicing enough on defense, enough on offense. But when you say a guy plays this and he can play that and he can move here and he can go there, he's not learning a damn thing at either one of the positions, because if you change sides, this stuff has to go. I mean, we're talking about winning championships. We're not talking about having fun and that. And I understand what the coaches are doing. They're trying to find out who the best player of the position still is. And that's the hard. That if people understand that that's what they're trying to do, then that's right. And the other thing is when we had a staff, and I keep using we, but if you think back, and every staff I was on, the head coach coached. Mm-hmm. And you tell me who the backfield coach is and who the quarterback coach is.
Well, you got Barthel and Satterfield.
He does both of them, right?
No, Satterfield does the quarterbacks, and Barthel does the running backs.
Okay, you have two coaches there, right? We had Turner Gill and Tom on the quarterbacks, both of them. They took time. Tom never came to the defense, okay? He stayed with the offense. He'd go down, and he was coaching the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got one coach added on to what you don't have now. And on defense, what is the defensive coordinator coach?
Is he doing linebackers? Helping with linebackers? I don't know. He might just coordinate. I don't know.
Okay, well, we were able to take our special teams coach one time and put him with Mel Kennefer as the assistant offensive line coach and special teams coach. Now, in certain times, especially with pass blocking and run blocking, you could divide your team in half and you could do one thing one way and the other guys working in that. And Dan Young went to pro camps for years and years and years working on pass blocking, how to pick up stuff and everything. That was monumental. I mean, people don't, that was monumental in our program. And the fact that we had guys in the back, Frank Solich, we had Tom coaching the court. Tom was the offensive coordinator. People, at times have wondered who it was, but I think everybody knew he was. I mean, there's nobody designated. Frank was designated as the assistant coach. But if he said, I got a chance to get a job with the X team, and tell him you're the offensive coordinator. I mean, that's how this works. I mean, it's not hard to figure out a lot of times. But anyway, I thought the kids, I tell you what, they're playing their butts off. And I really mean that. I think they have the same kind of stuff that a lot of our guys did. The difference was our guys were able to repeat things in practice because they knew who was first team, who was second team. And then you had your guys behind them who, worked hard on individual work. I went to practice, and I'll tell you exactly, I don't know if I should really say this out loud. But anyway, it's been long enough. When I went to Nebraska, I had 15 minutes of individual work. My feeling was, if I only have 15 minutes of individual work, I'm out of here. Because I can't teach a kid in 15 minutes a day how to play blocking schemes and all the things that are important with his eyes, with his hands. I watched the drill, one drill. There wasn't one. I'm not going to tell you the position, but it was one drill. There was not one coach said a kid did it wrong or a kid did it right. It was get through it and let's go to the next thing. Okay? And if you're going to coach that way, you don't have a chance. These kids need to know exactly how you do it and why you're doing it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's about repetition, and it's about the.
If you want to look like, I can tell you right now, if you played somebody in the future, okay, they're going to be so well coached at their positions that we're in trouble. Okay, and I understand that this is the first year. This is a deal where they have to find out who the guys are. But we got some seniors. You got a kid 37 right there. When you lose him, you watch what you take out of your defense.
Sure.
And he's a walk-on. I mean, he's a guy that came from Hastings College or something, and so there's kids that are really, really, really good players. And to make them better, this is just me talking now, okay? My thinking was make them better than they think they can be. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? And I learned that from a baseball guy.
and he happened to lead the American League in home runs and runs batted in 1944. It got you, didn't
like
it? His name was
no.
Nick
I'm thinking
for the Yankees, but
pretty good ball player.
And one of my best friends is Carroll Hardy, who played for the Boston Red Sox. And those guys, I know how hard they worked in the off season and what they did. And one thing I do know is they were embarrassed if their belly was hanging over their belt buckle. So, there's a lot of things, you see as a young guy that, you see as an older person, and you carry some of that stuff with you. It's not coaching, it's just life. And
Coach, I got to jump in and ask about Michigan State. We got about 90 seconds before we got to say goodbye. What do you think about Saturday? You think Nebraska's got another one in them?
You quit on me all the time. But Michigan State is a dangerous team just because you have to. They're begging for a win. Okay, they're going to give you everything they got, everything. So if you fumble the ball, if you lose possessions of it, you won't have the time, because I'll tell you what, we made up for it by the balls they dropped. You put the balls they dropped into the game last week, we got problems. And so Michigan State is going to be dangerous. And so they better be ready to play and not just so happy about winning last week. Last week is history. And that's important. I really think it is. But I will say this, that everybody around here is picking Michigan State to win. And, of course, they want to do it in front of me, so they don't believe it. But, it's scary for me to hear them say that. And but I do think that we've really got to go with an attitude and play and focus on everything we do, every play we do.
Coach, we'll see if that can be a reality, because if Nebraska can start putting it all together, you get the defensive performance, you get special teams.
If they start putting it together, look out, Scouts, because they're the best team in the West.
Yeah. We'll see if it gets there. We hope to see you in Michigan, Coach. Thanks for giving us a few minutes today, bud.
Okay. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Coach.
Bye now.
Thanks, there Charlie. He is. Mr. Blackshirt, Charlie McBride. Coach was passionate today as he was he was off and running, man, right out of the gate with the segment with seeing that game twice today. And he's right. Sparty is dangerous. Sparty is talented. Where's Sparty's head at right now, Elijah? They've lost 6 in a row.
Well, Matt Rule kind of talked about the same thing today. Is upon his rewatch of the game, he was unhappy. And we can get into this with Jay Moore, maybe what that defensive performance actually looked like. But it's not the second person there. With Matt Rule saying, you know what, upon rewatching it, I wasn't very happy with the defensive performance. Charlie essentially said the exact same thing right there, that if it wasn't for the drop passes, Purdue would have been a lot more dangerous, and he wasn't happy with the defensive performance either. So that's what expert eyes see that maybe my amateur eyes don't.
Well, and the drops were a real thing, and Rule hit on it. Jay Moore is coming up. We're here at Rosie's 10th and P Roadshow Monday with Hail Varsity.
All-State, 2-year starter, and rush in for the Big Red and NFL vet.
Is Dudeness or Duder or El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
It's Blackshirt Jay Moore with Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's Hail Varsity Roadshow here at Rosie's downtown. We're presented by Cornhead Lager. 10th and P is where we're at for Monday Night Football, Detroit and Vegas. We say hi to NFLer Husker Big Red wrap-up. It's Jay Moore at JMoore44. Jay, just so we're clear, as folks watch on video, you are not taken hostage. You're just in the corner by choosing, correct?
Correct. I put myself in the corner for the interview. I'm currently up in Omaha at a conference right now, but we're on a break. So very, very happy to be out of the conference and chit-chatting with you guys about Nebraska win this afternoon.
So you're a strict win's a win guy. Did you pull any hair out, though, with the turnovers?
Oh, yeah. I think just how they come about. I mean, you open up the game with the turnover again. You're just like, geez Louise, guys. I mean, this is why we can't have nice things, right? Like, you got to take care of the football. And so that was frustrating. But again, the defense ability just to not give a dang where they're put and they just continue to make plays is so impressive. But then again, you look towards, late in the game and you're feeling really good about yourself. You're up 24-0, and then you get a Harburg fumble, after he gets killed, didn't see a defender in the flat and gets smoked, fumbles it. They score a couple of plays later. They make a good play. Guy makes a great play in the end zone for a catch. And then with Harburg's, getting banged up and the bloody lip scenario, and Jeff Singh comes in, and you have that whole scenario where they score on defense, and you're just like, it's 24-14, and you're feeling really, really good. And all of a sudden you're thinking, how are they going to lose this football game? And that literally comes into your head just because everything gets moving so fast. But it's a different team. This is a different team now. They just don't seem to flinch. And when things are kind of sliding down the cliff, somehow they're able to stop, the momentum in from the other team and just keep things going. And that's just what's been so impressive, because it just has been sloppy. The offense has been sloppy. The defense is able to help and put an end to that sloppiness and bail out the offense in the scenarios. But, I mean, if you look at it from, they're leading the nation in fumbles and fumbles lost. I mean, most teams in that scenario are not 5-3. They might be, 2-6, 3-5, whatever it may be. So it's wild. But, yeah, it's definitely unsettling and very stressful watching this offense, because it's going to happen sometime or something. It's almost like Murphy's Law, right? Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. It just seems like it just happens with offense. But we're just in a great position right now that our defense is so damn good and is able to hold teams and opponents to field goals and can block field goals and return for touchdowns and just keep that momentum from changing against you as it can so easily in college football.
It's Jay Moore with us here on Hail Varsity Radio. We're talking Nebraska-Purdue. And Jay, Matt Rhule got up on Monday in front of the media and said that he wasn't as happy with the defensive performance today as he was on Saturday. Once he got in and looked at film, said the tackling wasn't as good as he expected it to be. And there was some stuff there from Purdue to take advantage of that they didn't necessarily take advantage of, but he thought there were some plays there that they could have had. And he wasn't as happy with that defensive performance as he was on Saturday afternoon. And I want to get your thoughts on the defense. When you look at the fact that defense could have pitched a shutout if it wasn't for Nebraska's offense giving them a short field once and then the scoop and score. Nebraska very realistically could have had a shutout against that Purdue team. That's how well it looked, at least to me, like the defense was playing. But Matt Rhule clearly thinks that they can still continue to play even better. So I want to get your thoughts on just how well the defense played on Saturday.
Yeah, listen, it's situationally, they played pretty darn good. I look at, you get put into tough situations as they've been put in all year long with the turnovers, and they continue to hold teams to field goals or push them out of field goal range. They got a punt, or they go for a fourth down, they can't convert. So I think they've done fantastic in that area. I do think they got a little slop in the back end and sometimes on the coverages. Pass rush wasn't as good as you'd like to see, and it just seems like when they did get a decent amount of rush, Carter's able to get out of it. Now he's a good athlete, right? So, but you'd like to see guys get the quarterback down and get some more sacks in that scenario. But it's nice to, even though when you look at, they held them to, under 100 yards rushing, 100 yards passing. that's just fantastic football from a defensive standpoint. But you got to look, you can get, you just got to correct the mistakes that were made. You can look at it and say, yeah, we played obviously well enough to win, but you have to always address everything. And no matter, whether it's a win or a loss, you always got to address everything the same. And I think that's what they're doing. Obviously that's what is being done is, yeah, you guys did some good things, but you got away with it. You got touched the oven a couple times and didn't get burned. Now you can't tend to do that, otherwise you are going to get burned. You could get burned against Michigan State. You could get burned against Maryland. You could get burned against Wisconsin and Iowa. So just got to clean up those things, and they will. They'll get them cleaned up. And nice thing is too is, as you know, the defense. They're playing well, and you can kind of be you can feel yourself. I'm not saying they're getting complacent a little bit, but sometimes you just need to get a checkup, right? And I think Coach Rule's just making sure that defense is being checked up on and saying, hey, you guys just aren't as good as you think you are sometimes, so let's keep on getting better.
Jay, does this offense like touching the oven? I mean, there's some sickos out there that are just into pain and suffering, and I kind of kid, but
it seems like they have oven mitts on the way they can't hang on to the dang.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's too bad because what I liked about the offense is, man, you saw some explosive plays. Okay, you saw Lloyd get downtown for a monster touchdown pass. You've seen some pitching going on with the option play that got some 7-8 yard gains on first down. I know that's not an explosive, but 2nd and 2 was nice to see occasionally from the offense. And then you saw Emma Johnson come in and rip off a 28-yarder. So their offense looked a little bit better to me, clearly, than it did against Northwestern. And, Harburg's just kind of keep getting better and figure it out. I got nothing for the who, what, or why with Sims. Turned the wrong way, and then insult to injury with stopped short on 4th and 1, and then it's a fumble and a scoop and a score. I like your point about that this is a different team, but there's still some of that same PTSD with Nebraska fans where it went from 24-0 to 24-14. Nebraska responded the right way, but do you think Nebraska's got enough in them to get to Indy? You got 4 games left, starting with Sparty.
I can't even go that far.
You're just worried about Saturday, huh?
I'm worried about Saturday. Literally, I've taken the same approach as that Coach Rule wants. I mean, I'm just worried about Michigan State. Can they beat Michigan State? Yes. Do I expect them to beat Michigan State? I think I do, but they can easily lose this football game. You'd have to ask me that question if they haven't lost, going into the Iowa game. I think if that's a possibility, I think that's a fair thing. Not right now, I don't think so. I just think if this offense continues to turn the ball over and has the same issues, it's like karma, man. It's just football. Like the football gods, we've gotten some bounces. I mean, we should have more. I mean, thank heavens Newsom was in place to pick up the Bullocks, muff punt, right? I mean, you can only, like I said, play around a stove, play around fire, do things you're not supposed to and get away with it. So it's hard to keep playing on offense and doing the things they've done through the first 8 games. Let's turn the football over and continue to expect to win football games. It just doesn't work like that. I mean, Rule said it last week that, I can't believe we're -6 or -8 in the turnover category, and we're 4-3. Like, that doesn't happen, right? He said that last week. So they can't. If they continue to do that, I just think it's gonna bite them in the rear end here real quick. They can just, like I said, somehow offensively, they're gonna have it. It's football. You're gonna have a helmet hits the ball perfectly, or a tip ball, whatever it is. There are things that happen. Nice thing is hopefully the defense can recover and make plays and get turnovers as well. But for me to sit back here and say, can they make the Indy? As of right now, no, I don't think so. I'm not even expecting that. Can they beat Michigan State? Yes, that absolutely can. And I'm sure I think they're early favorites already in Vegas. So they just got to continue to battle, man. It's just every game's different. Every game is so different. Harburg's got to continue to get better. He's got to get a better feel in the option. He's got to learn to take hits better. He's got to learn to probably get on the ground, like go into contact a little better. And just that's how you're going to take care of the ball as well. Is just you got to learn how to take a hit too, and it's tough to do when you don't get hit in practice as well. So, looking that far in the future, that's way too. I can't even go there yet. And with the fact that this wasn't even close to being discussed, at the start of the year as well.
Well, Jay, is it fair to say that this week Maryland's going to be practicing, Michigan State's going to be practicing punching the football out, and the next week Maryland's going to be practicing punching the football out, and then Wisconsin's going to be practicing punching the football out? Once you show that weakness everyone knows about it, and even almost compounds the issue even more when everyone knows this team's got fumbling issues.
Yeah. Listen, you're always working on that stuff throughout the week. You always are as defense. You have certain drills and time frames of practice. You're working on getting the ball out. Some guys wrapping up the ball carrier. The next guy's coming in and ripping it out. You're preaching it, day in and day out in practice from the defensive coach's aspect. And but now you know that there's blood in the water. You know that this team has a propensity to do this, and it just makes you that much hungrier, and you're going to want to do it more and more, and that you're going to work on it more and more because hey, this team's going to give it to us. Just know this team is putting the ball on the turf and be ready to scoop and score, be ready to get on it and get the ball back to our offense. Because this is what it is, right? Nebraska fumbles the football. They just do that, and they got to be, and it's just the opposite in Nebraska's practice this week. I guarantee you that the quarterbacks are going through the gamut of things, of getting their, the ball swatted at and, tackled, somewhat, wrapped up, and all sorts of drills are going to be going on. And same with the running backs, same with the wide receivers. I guarantee you Bullock's catching more punts this week than he's ever have to make sure you can, even make sure you don't drop them, and somehow, some way, just try to find some sort of hope that you can take care of the football better in his last 4 games. Because, like I said, if it continues, I'm not questioning, making a bowl game by any means. I think they can still find one more win the rest of the year. But god dang, it's just you're just playing with fire, and eventually you're going to get burned if you continue on this trend that they're on.
Jay Moore is with us, Hail Varsity Radio, Cornhead Loggers powering Hail Varsity Radio. We're here at Rosie's, 10th and P downtown, Monday night road trip as the Raiders take on the Lions. We'll get Jay's take on the NFL here shortly. But, Jay, the light has turned on for a lot of guys. You could argue Ty, you could argue Nash, you could argue Butler, you could argue Giff. You can argue both corners and Newsome and Tommy Hill. Who do you think's playing the best ball right now defensively?
Man, they're all playing really good football right now. I think, obviously Ty Robinson's playing at a high level. Nash Hutchmaker's playing at a high level. Isaac Gifford's playing at a high level. I know Luke Reimer's working his way back into playing mode after being out for a couple of weeks with infection. Newsome's playing really, really well. He probably doesn't get as much as attention he should because I think teams are staying away from him because he's pretty good in coverage. Tommy Hill's stepped up here and got some interceptions the last couple of weeks. Omar Brown's done a great job. You could go down the list. I think everyone's playing good. I mean, Butler, Princewell had a fantastic play on that sweep, that play out to the flat, the little screen pass. That was awesome. That was a great play. Judy has a blocked field goal. Kim Lenhart's playing at a high level. You don't play as well as you do defensively as they played through 8 games this year and not have guys playing at a high level. I think everyone's has up their play, their confidence is at all-time level, and they have the right mindset. They just have it doesn't matter where the ball's at in the field; they're just going to stop you, and that's just it's a beauty. It's a thing of beauty to watch them have that mindset. It doesn't matter what the call is, what the score of the game is, what the down and distance is. It's like this is what the call is. We're going to execute it. We're going to communicate it, and we're going to come get you. And it's fun to watch. It truly is fun to watch. It's just nice to know when you do have an offense that's, has their issues, that even they're put in the toughest situations, this defense is gonna bow up and do their job and limit the bleeding and hold teams to field goals if put in tough situations.
It's Jay Moore with us here on Hail Varsity Radio. Jay sticking around for some overtime with us here as a part of the Blackshirt Hour. And Jay, let's talk quickly about Michigan State and what Nebraska faces this weekend. It's a ways off, but Michigan State is a team that is spiraling, to say the least. They lost Mel Tucker. They have lost 6 straight games since then. They're not the team that you thought they would be at the start of the year. Lost some players through the transfer portal as well. And I want to get your thoughts on what the danger of a team like that is, because a lot of Husker fans out there are chalking this one up as a W despite the fact that Nebraska goes on the road, because as you laid out, Nebraska's a road favorite against a team that really everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for them this year, and I'm sure they're pretty down on themselves. But what's the danger of playing a team like that?
Well, I think Michigan State's still a pretty physical football team. And, I watched most of their game against Rutgers. They should have beat Rutgers. Rutgers able to come back in the second half and squeaking out a win somehow, some way. But it's hard. You're playing a bunch of guys who I know that things have changed. You've come to play for Mel Tucker. He's obviously not there anymore. You've had some teammates leave because of the situation. You've struggled. You've had losses, but you just don't ever want to give a team like this a hope, a chance. And when I say that, it's turn the football over and be sloppy and not do the necessary things you need to win on the road. And, like I said, the blood in the water, these smell blood in the water, and they will attack. The Sharks will come out and they'll do their thing. So you always got to be, I don't care who it is. I don't care whatever team is, what they've dealt with throughout the season. They're playing at home. Yeah, they haven't had some things go right with them, but they're going to be ready to play. They're fighting, man. There's still kids that are have Division I scholarships or Division I athletes. They still have really good coaches on that staff, and they're going to be coached well. They're going to play hard. So they got to be, Nebraska's going to be on top. They got to be on point to get a win in East Lansing. I mean, it's I don't know when. I mean, it's been obviously a few years since obviously the last time we were there was the punt disaster, right? I mean, Nebraska should have won that football game. So we've had some crazy wins up there. I can think of the Turner catch in the end zone, and I can think of Taylor Martinez's runs up there. But we also had some crazy losses, and just give me another win. And that's just what you're trying to do. You just got to battle. It's a 4-quarter game, man. It's going to be a brawl. It's going to be a battle. And it's, again, who makes less mistakes, who controls the time possession, who's able to make some big plays and create some turnovers is who's going to be winning this football game.
Jay, going to go to the NFL before we say goodbye. Jay Moore with us here. We're at Rosie's, 10th and P, downtown Rosie's. It's Monday Night Football. We'll put a bow on Week 8 in the NFL, and Detroit's -7. They got absolutely annihilated by Baltimore last week. The Raiders trying to get to 500. If we see a viral video later of drunken Raider fan versus drunken Detroit fan, who are you betting on? Raider fan, or are you betting on Lion fan for the drunken video brawl winner? Not the game, but the fight within the game that tends to happen.
That's tough. Those are two fans that have been through a lot.
And they're both tough. I mean, you got Detroit, and you got
a lot each, man. I mean, the Lions guy has a little more to fight, to this year. The Lions are pretty darn good.
Yeah.
But the Raiders, fan, they've been through a lot.
They've probably done time.
Oh, easily. We played the Raiders many times in preseason, and there was like 4 fights that would break out against Niners fans every game. It was every clockwork. I mean, and it's crazy what will tend to happen. I got to link. Is the game in Detroit? Is it a home game in Detroit, or is it in?
It is. No, it's in Detroit, and I got to just say, I'm picturing, Tech Niner fan, Silicon Valley guy versus leather vest, no sleeves guy. And with Shane Wallet, it probably didn't go well.
No, that's the scenario. It's definitely not going well. I mean, that's those back in the days of Candlestick Park, and in the Oakland Athletics Stadium where they currently play. I mean, that's where the Raiders played when they're in Oakland. So those were 2 very old, not so fan friendly stadiums. That those brawls went down so many times. I think they put a stop to San Francisco and because they'd play them every year in preseason. I think they put a stop to it for a while because so many fights were breaking out when the 49ers and Raiders played in preseason. It's just like, I mean, what are we doing? It's a preseason game, right? And you still got guys are still going at it, just full of liquid courage. It was always constant entertainment. But give me the Lions guy tonight because they're at home.
Yeah, and it feels to me with those two fan bases, Raiders fan more likely to have a shank on him, Lions fan more likely to have either brass knuckles or just having a gun on him. So you don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight, and it's hard to pick against that.
Wow. Yeah. You think Detroit, little Kid Rock?
That's what I'm saying. It's either brass knuckles or you just got the gat. One of the two.
Or a firearm. All right.
Either anymore, I wouldn't be, less surprised.
Jay Moore, Blackshirt Husker NFLer, with us. We're here at Rosie's, 10th and P, on a Monday. Jaybird will get caught up again, talk Michigan State next week. Thanks for the time.
Yep. Talk to you next week, guys. Thanks.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
One final time here on a Monday for October here at Rosie's, 10th and P. You're invited down. They've got league action tonight with bags going. That's always awesome to watch. Or old boy Snitley's going to be tossing. And reminder to you that there is live music going on at Rosie's. So check that out. Appreciate all of you chiming in. 489-1240, the number to get dialed up for future use. We'll have Mr. Searles tomorrow. We'll have our friend and Big Ten insider and Husker insider Mitch Sherman, Jack Ebling, all Michigan State all the time. He'll get us connected as well tomorrow. We are in East Lansing Thursday as we fly out Thursday morning. We'll be at Reno's East Thursday night for a live show. We'll be at the Graduate East Lansing Friday for a live show, and then we will be at Spartan Stadium Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon for real Red Reaction. So we were lucky to get hooked up. Pretty good stuff. Reminder, here at Rosie's, they'll have live music November 3rd, Simplicated. They'll have live music coming up November 17th, Silas Creek. Cody Johnson's also at PBA. They'll have Whiskey Richards December 1st. So we're back here towards the end of November with the Broncos and Bills and Bears and Vikings. Steak and a beer tonight, Elijah. You feeling frisky with the -7 that Detroit's laying down?
I think it's going to be a closer game than that. I think
there was a team-only meeting earlier today. McDaniel got screamed at by all of his high-priced players. They hate his offense. They hate that no one's getting the football. They're not happy. He's about to lose his job. So you might see a much better performance by the Raiders. Now, Detroit got slapped in the face after they thought they were something. Really good start. I think Detroit and their coach are fantastic. That said, they need to bring it this week and not let the Raiders get out of Dodge with a win.
I will take the Raiders to cover 7, but the Lions win. Are you happy?
That 7's large. That's a large number. I'm thinking like this thing's a...
Are you willing to take the other side or no?
Sure, that's fine. I don't care. I'm on a diet. I can't have any fun anyway. It's okay.
How's the diet going? You enjoying it?
I'm down from 195 to 181 this morning in a week.
Let's go. Are you enjoying it, though?
I have not had a sip of alcohol since our old boy Vic bought us a shot Friday at the Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
3 whole days.
That's the... But if we're doing the math over the week, it's a lot of hours, Elijah. That sounds awful. I'm sorry. We will get to more comments that we did not get to today in the StreamYard. Check out the show, the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. Subscribe there. Hail Varsity Radio, Twitter feed at HVarsity Radio. Check it out that way. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. Can subscribe that way. Tell a friend about Hail Varsity Radio. Back tomorrow. Big thanks to Charlie McBride, Mr. Blackshirt, Jay Moore. Thanks to all of you for checking in. We'll get to some emails, phone calls, Searles tomorrow on a Tuesday with Hail Varsity.